One of the coaching changes that came down a couple of weeks ago is that Houston Madison has a new head coach. Houston Madison has a new head coach. People may remember Houston Madison as the place where Vince Young, Vince, still waiting. Vince Young cut his teeth. But the Marlins are a proud program, and they have a new head coach. It is Coach Damian Judge, and we are now joined by the head coach of Houston Madison, Coach Judge. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
We are doing great. How are things in Houston?
Right now we got an overcast, but normally the weather's pretty hot, and finishing up with district track and all the same things everybody's doing around Texas.
I want to ask you about track because you brought it up. How important is that? I think we talked to a lot of coaches about spring practices. We talked to them about two-a-days and all that fun stuff. But a lot of the offseason does base around a track program. For you, as you enter Houston Madison, for you, how important is it for you to see these kids running out there and being involved in the track program?
Well, I think it's very important to have two-sport athletes, whether it's a basketball and football or track and football or basketball and track. But track's so important because it involves running and agilities, and those things make successful student athletes. So track's very important from my standpoint.
I want to ask you about this move to Madison. You're moving. You were an assistant over there under Coach Ricky Tullis at George Ranch, now moving over to take on Houston Madison. What was it about this job that interested you? Why was this the right move for you?
Well, to sit in the same chair as Coach Ray Seals, a coaching legend, was definitely a big part of it. And the tradition that Madison High School has, it was a no-brainer for me. It was a very strenuous interview process, so that tells me they want the right person, and it was definitely a move up for me, and in my opinion, to take up on a job that is so tradition based in Texas, and with Vince playing for University of Texas and doing the things he did, people know about Madison all over the world. So that was one of the big reasons I took the job.
Okay, you brought him up, so I wasn't going to bring him up, but I will say it. You brought up Ray Seals.
Yes.
You brought up Ray Seals, and you're exactly right. A high school football coaching legend, 192 wins in his illustrious career. You mentioned what an honor it is to sit in his seat. Is there also a little bit of pressure there with coming and following a guy like that?
Well, I think if you ask any head coach in Texas, high school head football coach, I think it comes with pressure automatically. But I attended the University of Texas clinic this weekend and got a chance to hear Belichick talk, and Coach Tom Herman introduced Mac Brown, and Mac hadn't been back to a practice. I think it's his first practice in 3 years. And, my light bulb went off automatically thinking about Coach Seals because, the things that he did, being more than a football coach, helping those kids out, helping the community out, it's definitely a little pressure. But, yeah, I think with my background and the places I've been, it just prepared me to take on such a big task.
We're talking with Damian Judge, the new head coach of the Houston Madison Marlins here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation at #DCTF Live. Coach, you are the third, I believe you're the third George Ranch assistant this offseason to take a head coaching job. What's in the water in Richmond?
Well, Coach Tullis is first class. He does things the right way, from his organization, practice structure, and the genuine care for his student athletes. So, working for a guy like that and getting the blueprint for success, it's taught us. I work real closely with Coach Anderson, that's over at Elgin right now. He's a good guy. He's gonna He's going to do big things. Didn't have a chance to work with Coach Ritchie. He was here the year before me, but working for a guy like Rick and the student athletes, and I mean it's amazing. I mean it really is amazing.
We talk a lot about the previous job, but before this, you do have head coaching experience. You were the head coach there at Lytle. What did you gain in that time that you got at Lytle that you're going to carry over to you with you to this new head coaching experience?
Well, experience. I don't think that money can buy it. I think you gotta go through certain things to be prepared. And Lytle was a smaller community. Learned a lot from handling junior high sports all the way up until high school. And if you look over at Madison, it's a community. I know it's an HISD, which is a huge community, but Madison is in Harlem Clark, the neighborhood, and it's a familiarity with me to take on the junior highs over the feeder patterns over at Madison, and to have that experience to do that.
You're bringing back this Madison team is a district champion. After winning last year, they go 8-3, get bounced in the first round of the playoffs, but a tremendous district championship year. You guys are bringing 8 starters back on both sides of the ball. What can we expect from Houston Madison in 2017?
Oh, you should expect big things. Mm-hmm. We'll be coached properly. We'll do things right. I think that getting over the hump with the first round of the playoffs is definitely a goal of mine. But I've met with coaches over at Madison, and I've told them that this thing is not broken. When you win district, you're doing things somewhat right. But with change, it's going to be more, I say, energetic, and I'll definitely pump in some new blood into Madison High School.
It's going to be exciting to watch. We're talking with Damian Judge, the new head coach of the Houston Madison Marlins here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation at #DCTF Live. Coach, I want to ask you a little bit about your district. I know that you're not, you're still getting your feet wet there, but what's always interesting to me about this district, District 24-5A, is that all these teams know each other so well. Is that these are teams from just down the street. I mean, these are kids that your players kind of probably hang out with. For you, how do you approach that? How do you approach entering a district where all these teams do know each other really, really well?
Preparation. You have to be prepared, and I think that throwing a wrinkle in here and there that they're not prepared for is definitely something that we'll do. But being prepared and knowing that opponent inside and out will definitely help us.
And Coach Judge, I know you're a busy man, and we'll let you go in just a moment, but I do have a favor to ask of you.
Okay.
You're the new coach at Houston Madison, of course. Arguably, at least one of their most famous alums is a guy named Vince Young. Here on this internet show, we actually have his 2001 5A Player of the Year trophy. I'm holding it right now.
Okay.
And since we started this show 2 years ago-ish, about 2 years ago,
2 years.
Yeah. We've closed every show asking him to come get his Player of the Year trophy.
Okay.
And he still hasn't. So, if you see Vince, will
let him know.
Will you please let him know that we have his Player of the Year trophy?
That is one of my goals.
Okay.
Along with preparing my team, I will get in touch with Vince, and we'll end that tradition really quick.
Yes.
With you ending that show with his trophy.
We did it.
Top
we did.
priority.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We've made more headway in this in one interview than we have in 2 years of this show. He is Damian Judge. He is the new head coach of the Madison Marlins down there in Houston. Coach, appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the new gig, and best of luck down the road.
Okay, thank you.
There he goes, Damian Judge, new head coach, Madison Marlins. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. But that's, he brought up something really interesting, and I want to put a fine point on it. He said It's not broken.
Right.
He's not entering a situation where he has to rebuild a program.
Right.
This is a district champion program.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, all due respect to Waltrip and maybe Sterling and Austin, they're, to me, the class of that district.
Right. Yeah.
It's not broken. It just, they have to take that next step.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an energetic guy. I know he's going to be he's excited to take over down there. And a tradition-rich program. He brought him up. He brought up Ray Seals, and I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to say, "Hey, coach, by the way, you are sitting in the chair of one of the most respected high school football coaches of all time." But he is, and he knows it. And I think that you've got to know that going into that job, that the bar at some schools, the bar is here.
Mm-hmm.
At Madison, the bar is here. And I think that Damian Judge is the kind of guy who embraces that. I think you saw that. You can hear that in his voice. So our thanks to Coach Damian Judge for hopping on with us.